to it. Whew. Do a little movement, warm up your back, warm up your hips, do a little hip shake. Boom, 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 boom. All right. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna get ready to do some live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day. Oh, to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to make the suffering we're about to do a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining. So, if you like the idea of hip mobility, moving better on the ground, the idea of side splits, and you need a little bit of help practicing consistency, this is the place to be. We're here every single day at 9 p.m. And the dog confused me getting to the ground with playtime and is confused, wants pets. We're going to continue anyway, and I hope you enjoy the dog distractions because alternatively, the dog would be clawing and scratching on the door trying to get in. At least now, he is calm. All right, where are we going? We're getting started. Let's get into our warm ups. The first thing we're going to do is called hip cars, and they look a little bit like this. We're going to start with a high knee. We're going to lift this knee as high as we can directly in front. From here, we're going to open up that leg. We're going to point it out to the side. We're going to keep the hip in the same spot. The only thing that's moving is this leg bone. All right? Point as far to the side as you can. Lift that knee a little bit higher, and we're going to get ready to rotate. When we rotate, we're going to bring the ankle up, 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 as high as we can. Then we're going to keep going. 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 Oh, when you can't lift the ankle up any higher, you've reached your maximum range of motion. From the side, it might look a little bit like this. We're going to bring the leg down and back. Ooh, almost got a hamstring cramp. We're going to bring the leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Feel the stretch right here in the front of the hip, in the hip flexor. And that is one rep. I know I did a whole bunch of spinny stuff and it might be a little confusing, but I'll do it once from the front and I'll do it once from the side and I'll switch around as we go. All right, let's do this and get warmed up. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's one. High knee, open, ankle up some more, down and back. That's two. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's three. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's four. Again, this is all about using your muscles to get to the deepest part of your hip motion, range of motion as possible. So it should not be easy. It should not be all that comfortable, and it should be a little bit of suffering. That's seven. Let's go. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's eight. Hold on to the wall for balance if you need it. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's nine. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 10. Those are our first round of hip curls, or is our first round of hip curls. We got 4 rounds. We're going to do one on each side, going forward. Then we're going to go in reverse and do one on each side, all right? Let's go. Spin around. Let's go. We got the other side to do. Whew. I'm already out of breath. What the heck? Hand out for balance. Let's begin. Core nice and tight. Lift that knee as high as it can, directly in front. Open up that hip to the side. Open wide, open wide, open wide. Rotate the ankle up so it's horizontal. Rotate some more. Bring the ankle even higher. Bring the leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings. Flex the glutes. Flex or feel that hip flexor. That is one rep. We're going to do 10 more. Let's do it. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's four. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's eight. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. Eight. Nine. I can't remember. Eight is what we're going to count as high knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. Last one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. And that is our hip curls going forward. Now that your hips are warmed up, and they're way more tired, we're going to start and do a whole bunch in reverse. I think, oh, we are going to be ready for that in like 3 more seconds. Before we get in, I want to talk about your low back. All right, this is what twerking looks like. All right, your low back does all the work, and it's popping back and forth, and it makes it look like your butt's popping up. All right, the reason why we're teaching this right now, helping you identify what a twerk is all about, is because you might accidentally do a whole bunch when we're doing the reverse hip cars. All right, in the reverse hip cars, the first thing we do is we bring the leg down and back. Right, this was how we ended the hip cars in the forward direction. And unfortunately, when it's the first thing that you do, you get a little excited, your legs go flying, you're like, whoop-ha, I'm cool. And when that happens, oftentimes put a whole bunch of pressure into that low back and you create this arch right here. When you're doing it nice and gentle, you're doing a handful, it's fine, it's no big deal. But if you're doing a whole bunch and you're going hoo, 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 your low back can get really irritated, and we don't want that. We want to protect that part of the spine so it doesn't get uncomfortable. And the way we do that is by keeping the core nice and tight so it doesn't pop in and out. All right? Keep the core nice and tight. You know what it looks like when you pop it now, and you know what it looks like when you don't pop it. So now that you know all you need to know, let's keep that core tight and let's continue. Let's go in reverse. All right? Hands out for balance. Use the wall. Stand up straight. Core tight. Oh, and let's begin. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. I said something ridiculous like we'll be starting in like 3 seconds. That was like a whole minute of twerking and talking about why twerking is bad for your back. All right, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. I think that's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 4. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 7. 3 more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 8. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 9. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 10. Oh, that is 75% of our hip cars. We are almost done with them. We got one last leg to do. And I want you to breathe and I want you to chill for a second. Usually at this point, the last leg starts to get a little weaker, starts to get a little bit more tired. So if you need to take an extra second or two to mentally prepare yourself to work really hard and finish this leg strong, take that extra second, okay? Whew. When you're ready, let's begin. Hand out for balance. Stand up nice and straight and tall. Flex the core, flex the abs. Keep your back from doing this. All right. Keep the hips tucked in and let's begin. Back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Ooh, feel the stretch right here in the hip flexor. Lift that leg up to the side. Lift, 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 lift. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, that's 1. We're going to count it. Let's go. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, that's 2. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, that's 3. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, 4. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, 5. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, 6. 4 more. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, 7. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee, 8. We got 2 more. Let's go. Back. Side. Ankle up. Ankle down. Knee. That's 9. Last one. I realize I haven't done these facing you at all. So to make it a little bit easier to mirror, we're going to do the last one facing you. We're going to start by bringing this leg down and back. Flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes. Lift that leg directly to the side. Hold it up, hold it up. Rotate that ankle up as high as you can. Bring the ankle all the way down. Lift the knee high and finish by bringing the knee forward. That is our 10th and final rep to those hip cars. If you didn't take my advice or you struggled to keep your back protected, probably feeling a little bit of pressure here in the low back, feel free to drape your body over, relieve some of that tension in the low back, and just chill here for a second. Whew. From here, we're going to transition into our second warm up exercise. It's a little bit more chill, a little bit uh, more relaxed, at least for the first couple of seconds. What we're going to do, as soon as your low back relaxes a little bit, is we're going to bend one knee and we're going to straighten out the other. Okay? We're going to keep on folding the belly button down into the ground. All right? So, I hope you're in position and I hope you're ready to start. Bend the other knee, straighten out the leg that was bent, keep folding, bring that belly button down into the ground, and keep going. There's no set number that we're trying to do. We're just trying to take our time, explore the hamstrings, feel all that tingly sensation, try to bring the belly button down, try our best to fold forward, and keep going. Whew. Breathe, relax, breathe, relax, breathe, relax, breathe, relax, and we are doing a whole bunch. You should be feeling it in your hamstrings now, for sure. And you might also be feeling it a little bit in your glutes, or what feels like just below your glutes, maybe. And that is because your hamstrings attach just below your knee and they go up into the bottom of your pelvis, right about here. And when they attach, they become tendons, and tendons actually stick to your pelvis. So when you are folded forward like this, you're probably just feeling the hamstring stretch right where it attaches to your pelvis. Whew. The other place you might be feeling this is in your toes. They might be feeling a little tingly, a little fiery almost, and that sensation is often called nerve flossing, nerve gliding, nerve stretching. That tingliness is basically your nerves getting a little bit of stretch and shifting around inside your body and sending you some signals to let you know you've been stretching. For the most part, it's fine. If you're not going super explosive and powering through this movement, going whoa, 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 like you're sprinting or something with crazy range of motion, you'll be fine. Okay. From here, we're just gonna finish. That's it. That was all we had to do. That was our second warm-up exercise. Whew. We're gonna move on into our third warm-up exercise. Before we do that, I'm gonna remind you what you're doing over here, because some of you might have only seen me trying to like touch my toes or something. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, the number one most important quality, to build a little bit of community, to make the struggling, the suffering that we're about to do, and petting animals on our shoulder a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, a little less just pure suffering, so that it's easier to practice consistency. All right, so if you like that, if you want to work on your side splits, if you want to work on that hip mobility, then you're in the right place. We do this live every day at 9 p.m., and you should keep coming back. And also hit follow, hit subscribe, do all those cool things. Cool? All right, let's go. We're getting to our third and final warm up exercise. Hopefully, you're breaking a little bit of a sweat. I am definitely starting to sweat right now. Maybe long sleeve and sweatpants was not a good idea. Thought it was cold today, so disappointed. All right. From here, we're going to get into the Cossack switches. All right. That's our third warm up exercise. You don't have to do anything just yet. I'm going to demonstrate, and then we'll get into an easier version to set it up together. All right. The Cossack switch looks a little bit like this. We're going to try our best to sit as deep as we can on one leg. We're doing a deep squat on one leg. The other leg is basically doing a side split. All right. Shot out over there. From here, we're going to scoot our butts over to the other side. We're going to try and sit and squish and get low and compact, and then we're going to come back. That is one rep. For most of us, that's going to be really crazy. What the heck? And that's why we're going to do some warm-up exercises together before we do the other warm-up exercise, right? What I want you to do is, from a standing position, pop into your deepest squat. All right, try to get down on the floor as much as you can. If you are not that flexible and your butt is kind of up, your face is kind of down, and your ankles are up, that's actually absolutely perfect. That's what we want. I want you to try your best to bring your knees to your chest. I want you to lean forward enough that your heels are coming off the ground. You're feeling an Achilles tendon stretch and you're feeling the calf stretch. Okay? And then we're just going to sit there. We're going to relax for a little bit. Breathe. Chill. Relax. when you get pretty comfortable here in this position, I'm going to ask you to do a little dance, do a little wiggle, do a little shake, put that mobility to use with a little bit of movement. All right, shakety, shakety, shakety. You don't have to do anything in particular. Just move your knees a little bit, move your hips a little bit, move your ankles a little bit. Just add and experiment with a little tiny bit of gentle movement. And if you find you're very comfortable with that tiny little bit, you can do a little bit more. Have fun with it. All right. From here, hopefully your ankles, your knees, your hips are a little bit looser, and we're ready to get into some Cossack switches. Let's go. We are sticking our hands straight down into the ground, and we're extending one leg out to the side, like so. The other leg, the power leg over here, we're going to try our best to get this heel down on the ground. All right. And from there, you gotta do whatever you gotta do to get as low as you can get. You don't have to get as low as I can get. You have to get as low as you can get. All right. Once this heel is down, try to sit back into this position and get small and get compact. If you can get real low, great. If you get stuck rather high up, that's fine. It's part of the process, and everything is okay because we're here to keep on working it until we get deeper. All right. Let's go. From here, we're gonna scoot our butts over to the other side, and then we're gonna go back. If you are able to get your hands on the ground to give yourself a little bit of help, use it. If you are ready, because we got enough information funneled into your brain, then let's begin. Ankles down, sorry, heels down, ankle over there, get low, and let's go. One, over. Sit into that stretch, get compact, get small, come on back. Other side, same thing, get small, get compact. Whew, that's one rep. Keep on going. Oh, and come on back. That's two. We're gonna do 10 of these in total. Keep going. Three. If these are feeling a little too easy, you're like, I don't need to put my hands down. Feel free to cross your arms and frown and be like, I don't think I need to use my hands. Rub it in. Okay, great. From here, we have done five. If you want to continue, go ahead and keep going. The hardest version of this that you'd like. If you need a little bit more challenge, you can try and sit up a little bit straighter. Your low back should start firing quite a bit. You might want to extend your arms out in front of you to help counterbalance a little bit. And keep going. I think that's seven. And eight. If you're getting to the point where the inside of your knees are feeling a little bit of achiness, feeling a little uncomfortable because of this transition right here in between, instead of transitioning that way, you can come up first, come across, and then sit down into the stretch. What we care about is building strength and mobility at the same time. You can build the mobility sitting and squishing again deep here, and you can still build some strength coming up and down. All right. So if you need to, give yourself a little bit of a break. You can come up, come across, come back down, and I think with that we have done all 10 of our Cossack switches. And that means it's time for a quick break. Go grab a sip of water if you need it, and go grab a little bit of a cushion for your knee. We're going to get into our five stretches. The first stretch is a hamstring stretch. One knee is going to be on the ground, one leg is going to be extended in front of us. We're going to fold forward. This knee is going to be holding a lot of body weight. So grab something to pad it. It could be a yoga block, it could be a yoga mat if you got one of those. It could be a couch cushion, a decorative pillow, your dog's bed, your favorite child's bed because or your favorite child's pillow because they'll forgive you, and could be dirty laundry that you just roll up and stick under your knee. All right, so take a second to grab that. I'm gonna grab my own mat, and we will get into our stretches. Whew. Oh, all right. We have wrapped up our three warm-up exercises, and now we have five stretches to do. The first stretch looks a little bit like this. We're dropping one knee down into the ground, and if your cushion is big enough, actually drop both knees down into the ground. Take a look at your knees. Take a look at your hips. We want to maintain this position for as much as possible. All right. When we do this stretch and one leg kind of gets extended out in front, oftentimes we get a little excited and we start going wee, and one leg goes way out in front and one leg kind of gets left behind over here, right? And your whole chest starts rotating because your left hip is way back here, your right hip is way out front. That is too much. That is way more than we need to be doing. You'll still feel a hamstring stretch here. That's true. But there's going to be a whole bunch of other muscles feeling really tense. So don't go crazy. Bring that leg back in. We're focusing on just one thing at a time and hold that leg in. Okay? From here, we're ready to fold. I'm going to switch legs. If you have a leg that you already know is less flexible than the other, you want to spend more time on it, the first go around, I teach a little bit more our process, and it takes a little bit longer, so you'll have more time there. All right. We're extending one leg out in front. All right. Keeping the hips pulled in together, nice and square. We're folding the belly button down into the thigh. I want you to fold as far forward as you can while maintaining, something resembling comfort. Maybe it's not comfortable necessarily, but it's not like, that kind of discomfort. So once you've folded forward a little bit, I want you to breathe. And I want you to sigh out a whole bunch of air. I want you to relax into that leg. I want you to relax into that fold. Your hamstrings are going to tighten up, but I want you to relax everything else as much as you can. Think about your toes, relax them. Think about your feet, relax them. Think about your calves, relax them. Same for the hamstrings. Those probably won't relax very much. Glutes, low back, relax them. Whew. Next up, we're going to do something called the inhale, exhale, fold. It is exactly as it sounds. We're going to take a big inhale in, fill our lungs with air. Then we're going to slowly exhale. And while we exhale, we're going to focus on bringing the belly button down into the ground. Okay? That's it. I hope you're ready because we're going to do it. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Fold, 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 fold. You're going to get into a deeper stretched position. Your hamstrings are going to be a little bit more unhappy with you. And as long as it's not feeling outrageously painful, you're probably just uncomfortable, and that's okay. Keep breathing. Keep trying to relax. Relax your calves, relax your feet, relax your toes, relax your glutes, relax your low back, and breathe. Take a couple more breaths. You don't have to do this fast. Just take a couple more calm breaths. Try to drape your body over that leg that's getting stretched. And we're going to do one more inhale, exhale, fold. All right? Same thing. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring the belly button down. Fold, fold, fold. Ah, that is how we set up our stretch. Right now, if it feels like your face is trying desperately to reach for your knees and you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in the top of your neck, in your upper back, in your mid back, you're working way too hard. Chill out. All of the stretch in this hamstring comes from the angle of your hips. All right? So the only thing that matters is whether or not your hips are folding forward. The easy way to tell what's going on with your hips is focusing on your belly button. Your belly button is literally like an inch above your hips. There's not enough motion for your belly button to do something that your hips aren't doing. So focus on bringing that belly button down to the thigh, and it is the right thing. Everything else you can relax. You can be lazy. So if your back is bending because you're lazy, great. If your back is bending because you're trying to forcefully stuff your knee into your face, that's too much. All right, that's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath as you breathe. Try to make sure your body's relaxing as much as possible. 23, 22, 21. I know it sounds crazy. Be like, you're in a crazy stretch. Relax. All right. Just force yourself to relax. I know it sounds crazy, but make sure to breathe. Sigh, grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. Relax, 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 relax. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. If you're feeling a whole bunch of pressure in your knees, you can give your knee a slight bend. That's going to take a whole bunch of pressure off of that hamstring stretch, and you can focus on folding even more forward until your chest touches your leg. All right? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh. The reason why we bend the knee and then try to bring our chest down to the leg is because we're trying to get the most out of that hamstring stretch before we have to straighten out that leg again to get the last little bit of the hamstring stretch. It is not super important for most people to have your leg locked out the whole entire time. If you give it a slight bend, that will help make your knees not to ache, and you'll still be working on that hamstring stretch. Okay? And with that, I think it's time to switch over to the leg. Let's go. Other side. Whee! Bring the leg over. Remember, look down at the hips. We're keeping them neutral. We're keeping them right underneath us. We're not rotating. We're not twisting. And let's do the other leg. Bring that leg out in front. Fold. Whew. When your hamstrings are telling you, hey, 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 we're already in a stretch. You don't need to do any more. Don't believe it and breathe. Relax the feet, relax the toes, relax the calves, relax the hamstrings if those are relaxed, relax the glutes, relax the low back, and just breathe. Once you've been here for a couple of seconds, for a couple of breaths, we're going to do the inhale, exhale, fold. All right? On that inhale, I want you to take in as much air as you can without inflating like a balloon and popping up. Cool? So let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring that belly button down. You might also benefit if you imagine that you're sticking your butt back behind you. That might be a little bit helpful. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree when you think about sticking your butt back. Keep breathing. Keep relaxing. Remember, toes, feet, calves, hamstrings, glutes, low back. Try to have them as loose and relaxed as possible. And take those big, nice breaths. Exhale. Drape your body over that leg. And I think we're ready for the final inhale, exhale, fold. You ready? Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Bring the belly button down, 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 down. Breathe. Sink your body into that leg. Belly button's coming down. Chest is coming down. We're ready. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Again, if you need it, bend that knee. Make your knee a little bit more comfortable. If you're in pain the whole time you're stretching, it's not going to make you want to come back and practice consistency. Okay? So if you can make small tweaks that make it less awful, that will be very good for you. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Oh, all right. My hamstring stretch, at least on one leg, has gotten quite good. I'm very pleased by the progress, but it's taken me a long time to get as deep as I have gotten. A lot of the times, or not a lot of the times, a couple of times, I think last week we got a couple of comments that were like, "Wait, I'm a beginner. What can I do if I'm a beginner?" I promise you, I've been doing this show live every single day for a year and like 5 or 6 months. And the stretches have been the exact same. The setup has been almost identical for the entire time. All the folding that we're doing doesn't matter if you're folding just a little bit past 90 degrees and you get stuck right here. If you're trying your best to relax your muscles, if you're trying your best to drape your body over the legs, slowly that will accumulate and slowly that will add up. Okay? So, what am I trying to let you know? A lot of the stretches that we're doing, some of them I'll look like I'm really deep in the stretch, and some of them you'll feel like, what the heck, that's not possible. What are you talking about? I don't want you to feel dissuaded by the fact that this show exists and that I might be in a slightly deeper variation of the stretch. Every single stretch that we've done, I have been doing this whole entire time. And this live runs for like an hour and a half every day. I do not exercise very much outside of this live. So believe me when I tell you, we can get flexible if you just follow the instructions. All right. You don't have to worry about all the other stuff. You don't have to worry about perfection. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. It's just about showing up and practicing consistency. Okay. That was our hamstring stretch. I'm going to stop with the philosophical ramble. We're going to get into stretch number 2. That is our butterfly stretch. In the butterfly stretch, I want you to sit up against the wall so that your butt is down, your mid back, your upper back, your head, your shoulders are all touching the wall. You got this nice straight-ish posture for a second, and I want you to focus on bringing your feet together. Then bring your feet in towards your groin. Ooh. With your back up against the wall. I want you to try your best to bring your knees down into the ground. The butterfly stretch is a groin stretch. The way we stretch the groin is by bringing the knees down into the ground. I always want you to get stronger, so I want you to try your best to use your outer thigh muscles and your glutes to help pull your legs open. And if this is your first time on the live and you're like, what muscles am I using? I have no idea. I've never tried to do this before. That's absolutely okay. You're looking for two things. One, you're looking for your knee to go down a little bit when you're trying to use your muscles. All right. Two, you're trying to feel a stretch here in the inside of your thighs near your groin. Those are the two things. If those are going, you're feeling it, you saw your knee move a little bit, you're doing the right thing. All right. You don't have to worry about it because we got a part 2 to the stretch that's going to take care of that problem. We're taking our hands. We are pushing our knees down into the ground. Push, 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 push. So we used our muscles, and now we're using some different muscles, some external force to bring the legs down. When you do this, it's very likely you'll feel a whole bunch of pressure in the back of your head, in the tops of your upper shoulders. That's because one end of your arms are pushing your legs down, the other end of your arms are pushing your back into the wall. So I want you to know that's normal. And with that, we're ready to go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. If you want, you can try your best to relax your shoulders, push them down into the ground, push your hands down, open up those legs a little bit wider by using your hands, pushing them down. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Whew. That is your butterfly stretch. If your legs are feeling real tired, like they don't want to move at all right now, you can forcefully grab them with your hands, give them a light shake, and say, hey, 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 wake up. We got stuff to do. There's a whole bunch of other stretches I'm trying to do. Legs, you got to wake up. You got to wake up. And once you shake them out a little bit, hopefully they'll be able to flap up and down with just your muscles working them. And that's a good sign. We're ready to move on into stretch number 3. We're going to do the pancake. The pancake is quite possibly, very likely, the hardest stretch that we do. So, I hope you're mentally prepared to do the hardest part of the whole show right now. Let's get into the pancake. We are opening up our legs nice and wide, like so. From here, if your hips are starting to feel a little tingly, a little bit achy right here, you can stop. You can bring your feet in just a little bit. When that sensation goes away, we're ready to continue. I want you to look at this belly button. We talked about it a second ago. The belly button is right above your hips. It's like maybe an inch from the top of your hips. That is why I tell you to always focus on your belly button, is because it's the closest thing that you can actually see on your body right next to your hips. All right? We're gonna bring that belly button down. Down, 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 until we get into something that looks like this position. Okay, we're just folded forward. From the side, it's gonna look a little bit like this. Whee! In the pancake, our goal is to bring our upper body in between our legs. It's gonna look something like this. Whee! Oh, except I can't get into it yet. But when you get really good, it looks something like that. All right. What we want to do is to get gravity to work for us as much as possible so that we can be as lazy in our suffering and our self torture as we can. All right. Get the most value for the least amount of work. And we're going to put gravity to work for that. It's already there keeping you down. So at least it can help you with your forward fold. Right. All right. From here, to get the most out of gravity, you want to keep your upper body as close to horizontal as possible. That is when this point right here in your hips, the leverage is going to feel the most intense and it's going to feel like it's pulling you down into the ground. Just make sure to breathe and relax and see how far gravity will pull you. If that's not quite enough, you're like, I can do better. You can try to extend your arms out in front of you so that your biceps are by your ears and keep on breathing. You'll realize suddenly that stretch got a lot harder. If you are a masochist and you want to take that to the next level, you can feel free to hold something in your hands. I was trying to see if I could find anything to grab in arm's reach. I can't. So you can pretend that you're holding something, and that will bring you even deeper into the stretch, and it'll feel crazy. All right, that's it. That's how we get gravity to help. Next up, to make our stretch a little bit more difficult, you can focus on widening your stance. When we're folded like this in this 90-degree angle, you should be able to open up your legs wider without pain compared to when we were standing straight up and I told you to open up your legs. All right. So open those up and give this a try. Get your hands off the ground. Fold forward. Bring that belly button down. Fold, 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 fold. If you feel like your face is about to smash into the ground, you can kind of stick your butt back a little bit. That will bring your chest up a little bit closer to horizontal. And that's it. That's our stretch. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. It is totally possible your stretch looks just like this. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, put your hands down. That is our pancake. Whew. We do a variation called the standing pancake because we were standing the whole time. And the reason why I like the standing pancake is because your muscles get stronger. We're training them as we stretch. If you're having problems getting out of that stretch, by the way, you can wiggle your toes, your heels, your toes, your heels, your toes, your heels in together until you get into something that looks like an old man in desperate need of a cane. Then you can pop into a bit of a squat, sit back a little bit, and that should help you come back into something that looks like a standing position. You might still be waddling around a little bit, but that's okay. That will go away in a little bit. From here, let's talk about why the pancake is so painful. The main two muscles that we're stretching are the adductors, the inner thigh muscles, and the hamstrings. The hamstrings we already worked on. You already know that those are attached back of the knee, bottom of the hip. So when you fold forward, that's when that gets longer and that's uncomfortable. But we haven't talked about the adductors. These muscles are absolutely essential for your side splits. Their main job is to contract and then bring your leg to the center of your body, maybe a little bit past center. What we did was not do that. We stretched them out by opening up our legs, right? So that was strike number one. Strike number two is we ended up standing here in that stretched out position and just holding it for a long time, forcing those muscles to contract. And that is why your legs don't want to move. The pro is you're getting stronger hanging out in this position. The con is your legs are very tired. All right. So, that is our pancake. If you are just beginning, or if you're particularly tired and you're really not feeling it on any given day, you can absolutely get up to a wall, rest your butt on the wall, and use that as like a little bit of a stool to help set you up for your pancake. That way, your legs can work a little less hard because you're getting a little bit of support from the wall, and that might make things a little bit easier. All right. If you haven't heard that instruction before, go ahead and give it a try tomorrow. I'll try to say it again before we do the actual stretch tomorrow. All right, we're going to move on to our fourth stretch. It's a little bit more chill. It's a little bit more relaxed. We get to lie on the floor today because we're doing the figure four stretch. You got the option between the figure four or the pigeon. I'm going to demonstrate the figure four because we do one demonstration per day, and both of them look a little bit like this. We're going to take one leg, we're going to cross it over to the other side, make this thing that kind of looks like the number four, right? We're going to grab our ankle, pull up into the air, and we're going to push our belly button down towards that leg. So we're folding like this. We're going to feel big stretch here in the side of that hip. This is technically a glute muscle. You might also feel a stretch in your hamstrings, maybe in the outside of that thigh, and maybe where we're actually folding in this hip. Okay? If you got a favorite between the figure four or the pigeon, go ahead and jump right into your favorite. If you know what you're doing, jump right in. If you don't know what you're doing, follow along. I'm going to demonstrate the figure four. All right? First thing we got to do is come onto our backs and lay down. Oh, oh that's nice. Oh. Next up, we are crossing one leg over the other. We're going to pretend we're like reading a newspaper on a fancy couch, right? One ankle is resting just below the knee, like so. You've created this triangle right here. What we're going to do is stick our hands through the triangle and around the outside of that triangle. We're going to pull the knee towards our face. All right. From the side, it's going to look a little bit like this. And you might be feeling a little bit of a stretch immediately. Good. For most people, you can be much deeper. So I want you to take a small breath in, exhale, and pull. And again, small inhale. Exhale and pull. Oh, you might be feeling the stretch now. One more. Small inhale. Exhale and pull. Once you have pulled your knee a little bit closer to your face, a little closer to your chest, we're ready to begin. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Keep on pulling that knee into your chest. Every time you breathe out, pull a little harder. All right. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Keep pulling. 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, let the leg go. Oh, breathe. Sigh. Let your arms flop to either side. Drop your legs down so your feet are on the ground. And you can see if you can let the knees drop from side to side. Do a little bit of rotation. Let the spine relax a little bit. And exhale. We're ready to move on. I hope you didn't fall asleep because that was chill and that was nice, I'm sure. My eyes are super tired now because I closed my eyes for the whole time. But don't fall asleep. We got another leg to do. Let's go. Rotate, come back around, other leg crossed over, resting just below the knee. One hand is reaching through the triangle, other hand is reaching around the other leg, and we are. No, I just showed that way. Ugh, ugh. Hold on, let me turtle myself all the way around. Ugh. We're reaching our hands through, we're pulling them in. Take a couple of quick breaths. Pull your leg in. Pull your leg in. Pull your leg in. That is a couple rounds of pulling your leg in. If you're feeling some stress in that knee, feel free to take your hands and cup that knee and pull in the knee directly. That will give it a little bit of support, make it a little easier on yourself, and might feel a little bit better. All right, let's go. We're going to go 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Keep breathing. 11, 10. On the exhale, see if you can pull your leg in a little bit deeper. We only got a couple seconds left. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Relax the leg. Let the arms flop to the side. Drop your legs. Let your legs drop from side to side. Let that mid back to low back slowly rotate and let the spine chill out a little bit. That reminds me, I totally forgot one of the moves that we usually do, some thoracic rotation, because I did the elephant walk facing the wrong direction and it threw me off completely. I forgot a whole entire move. It's not super critical. 4 hour show is nice to get a little bit of extra spine movement. If you missed it today, don't worry. You can just come back tomorrow and we'll do it tomorrow. All right. We're going to wrap up with our fifth and final stretch. We're going to do some side splits. If you've never done a side split before, don't worry. I'm going to break it down into small little pieces, and we're going to highlight all the individual pieces that are important, and we're going to take it nice and slow as we drop down into a deeper side split. If you get stuck at any point, it's a perfect place to stop. You don't have to keep pushing harder. All right? What else? What else? What else? Time for some side splits. Let's go. If you're just joining in for the first time and you're like, what the heck is this guy doing on the floor? We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live hip mobility and side splits training. We do this live every single day to practice the number one quality, consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering that we're doing on the floor a little bit more fun, a little less awful, and a little bit more entertaining. So if you like side splits, you like the idea of moving better on the ground, and you need help practicing a little bit more consistency, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back. We're live every day at 9 p.m. All right, let's get into some side splits. Ugh. First thing we're going to do is talk about safety. All right. And what I want you to do is sit really close to the wall. In fact, maybe lean up against the wall. Have your feet in front of the wall, 8 to 12 inches. For most people, that's going to be 1.5 foot steps in front of the wall. Once you're there, lean back, sit your butt against the wall, and see if you can just fall down a little bit into a deeper stretch. The reason why I'm having you set this up is because this is where you'll likely be if you start falling backwards. All right. In the side split, we're going to be in a situation where our legs are wide, our hands are probably going to be on the ground. We're going to be shaking, wiggling, squirming, trying to get deeper into a stretch. At some point, if you shift your weight a little too far back, you're going to realize you're not on your hands anymore and you're falling backwards. You're going to be swimming through the air. You're going to be like, no! And then you fall backwards. Luckily, because you listen to my instructions, you're going to be standing 8 to 12 inches in front of a wall. Your butt is going to rest up against the wall and everything will be fine because you didn't fall backwards that far. You can just do a little hip thrust from there. You'll be back in your starting position and you'll be right back in your side splits. All right. If you don't do that, if you have nothing behind you, you're here, you're working on your side splits, and all of a sudden you're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, and you lose balance with nothing behind you. You might fall, bust your butt. You might fall backwards, hit your head on something. All of that, all of that is unnecessary, completely avoidable if you just bring your butt up against the wall and everything will be cool. All right, all right. Ugh. You can tell I'm tired because I just didn't even want to get up from that laying down position. All right. Oh, let's get into some side splits. All right. 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Open up those legs. You can rest your butt up against the wall for a hot second just to make sure that it's safe, especially if you're brand new to the show. Just, do a quick test. If if you can't pull it off, you're like, that's way too far. You should probably stand a little closer to the wall, right? So, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? We are doing a side split, right? So we're trying to open up our legs nice and wide. Go ahead and do that yourself. If you get into a situation where your hips are kind of starting to hurt right here, in that hip, you're like, ooh, that's not nice. Ooh, what's going on? You've probably gone too far. What I want you to do is bring your feet a little bit closer together. When that sensation goes away, we're ready to fold. Focus on this belly button. Fold, 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 fold. Bring the belly button down as low as you can. All right. From here, this might look like the pancake that we were just doing, and it is actually the same exact setup so far. But from here, we're going to put our hands on the ground for a little bit of support. If you can reach, awesome. If you cannot reach, feel free to grab something to elevate your hands. Usually my stool is closer and I can pull it over for this demonstration, but somehow I put it really far away today, so I'm going to have to go grab that and start over. We are in that position with our legs far apart, and if you need something to help your hands to get elevated, you can grab a stool. You can grab some yoga blocks. You can grab a chair. You can grab a coffee table and use that to rest your hands on and lean into. Okay? If you're leaning forward, it's much harder for you to fall backwards, by the way. So keep that in mind. And Stay leaning forward. From here, we're going to do the most important part of this whole entire show. We're going to rotate our leg bones so that our leg bones do not smash into our hip bones. Remember when we were standing and I was telling you if you're feeling a hip pinching sensation, it's like pain right here, to stop and not do that? At some point, that hip sensation will just keep coming back unless we rotate the leg out of the way so the pinching parts just don't pinch at all. And that's what we're about to do. Okay, we're going to take this leg. Right now, the knee is pointing forward, right? Our toes are kind of on the ground, our feet are on the ground. What we're going to do is we're going to rotate the whole leg back 90 degrees, all right? So from knee forward, we're going whoosh, knee up, toes are up, heels are down. At this point, I should remember to say this earlier. It'd be nice if you had a little bit of padding for your heels because there's a lot of pressure on a little tiny bit of flesh on your feet. So if you need to pause and take a second to go grab some flip flops, to grab a little bit of, I don't know, old pillow, dirty laundry, something like that, go ahead and grab it. In the meantime, we're going to talk about the other side. The other side has to do the same exact thing. You can't just rotate one leg and keep the bones from smashing into each other and expect the other leg to also have the same magic effects, right? You got to rotate the other leg. So, boom, heels down, toes up, knees up. Once you are here, you're in a side split position. The only thing holding you back from a deeper side split is the length of your muscles in here. And if you feel like you're stuck, this is as far as you can get today. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to keep pushing yourself. Only push if you're ready for a little bit more. Okay? Oh, I hope everybody's back with their flip flops of choice. We're going to start leaning a little bit to one side. We're going to lean to the other side. We're going to keep on leaning from side to side. And in the same lean, I want you to see if you can push your leg out a little bit further each time. A little to the left, a little to the right, little to the left, little to the right, little to the left, little to the right. If you are very close to that wall, you can try to sit back on it for a little bit of support, for a little bit of reduction of the stress on your muscles right now. And if you sit back, you might be able to get into a slightly deeper stretch. When you're sitting back, your upper body should be going straight up into the air, more or less, right? When you're doing that, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your hamstrings, and that is perfectly fine. We need that for our side splits, so it's good to spend some time here. You might feel a little bit of pinching sensation in the hips. If you're feeling that, I want you to try to rotate your legs a little further back. Imagine your knees pointing just a little bit behind you, and that should help. All right, that's it. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. I know we've been holding it for a long time, so maybe we'll do 25. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Keep breathing. Do not hold your breath. Try your best to relax your toes, your feet, your calves, your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back. Sigh out all that extra air. Be as grunty and annoying as you need to be. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward. We're done with our first side split. Oh, the further you walk your hands forward, the easier it will be to pull the legs in behind you. And come back into something kneeling, something a little bit more relaxing. That is our first side split. I don't know if I told you this, but we're doing 3 rounds of 30 seconds of side splits, and that means we got 2 more to do. We're not anywhere close to done. In between each of these rounds, because we just put a whole bunch of tension into our legs, there's so much tension that your legs don't want to move at all. We got to relax. We got to shake out that tension. We got to get loose, and then hopefully that will set us up for side split number 2. We'll shake out some more after that, and then we'll be done with side split number 3 soon after. Okay, take your time. Come on back into standing. And if you're waddling around a little bit like a drunk penguin, that's okay. We just need to get past the drunk penguin phase, and we'll be ready to get some side splits. All right. Once you're back standing, put most of your weight into one leg. Start shaking out the ankle of the other. Nice and gentle. Doesn't have to be aggressive, does not have to be fast. You don't have to go whoosh, like you're kicking somebody. Can be nice and gentle. All the movement is sort of coming from the ankle. As you warm up, as it gets looser and looser and looser and more chill, I want you to go a little bit faster, a little bit more aggressive. What we're doing is making sure our ankles are loose, ankles are relaxed. That means all the muscles above the ankle are also relaxed and loose. And start shaking, start wiggling, just flopping. There's no exact technique that you absolutely need to do. The main goal here is to relax your muscles. If you can flop around like you're looking like a wet noodle, that is a great place to start. Okay, we're going to switch over to the other side. We're going to flop that ankle a little bit. Flop, 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 flop. You can go in circles. You can go back and forth. You can try to go side to side. As long as your ankles are loose, all the muscles above them that control what your ankles are doing, like flexing your foot, pointing your toe, pointing it side to side, those muscles have to be pretty loose to accommodate. Okay? And that's all that we're trying to do right now. Loosen up the feet, the ankles, and everything below the knee. From here, you should already feel like you're a lot better than when you were a drunk penguin a couple seconds ago. We're going to continue. We're going to do a little bit for the hips. All right. What I want you to do is put all your weight into one leg. I want you to put your big toe down into the ground. I want you to bend that knee with the big toe and rotate the leg in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. If you don't know exactly how to use those muscles, you're not super familiar yet, don't worry. This is all you got to do. Take your time. Focus on the knee going out and in and out and in. Make sure the rest of the body is not moving. This is not like something where your knee is actually moving. It's technically just your thigh bone where it connects into your hip. You're using your muscles to rotate your thigh bone. Okay? Once you have a little bit of control over those muscles, you can pick up the speed. You don't need to keep the leg bent. We're only bending the leg so it's very obvious where the knee is pointing. You can straighten out the leg and you can keep on shaking the leg back and forth. Keep on using those muscles, rotating the leg. And as you get more comfortable, as you get faster, as you get more loose, you can turn this into fun dance moves like the stanky leg. All right, one, two, three. You can do the other side. You can rotate that leg in and out, stanky leg, rotate some more, make it fun, make it dancy. This is all about relaxing those muscles and hip mobility. So the worst you can do is not put it to work, not put it to use. If you need to break out some dance moves soon for a wedding, stanky leg will be super useful, and you can prepare every single night with some stanky leg. And it will help you relax those hips. It will help you work that mobility, and it will help us prepare to get into side split number two. I don't know why I put out three fingers. Side split number two. Let's go. Actually, hold on. I got a quiz from TikTok. It will shut down in 3 minutes if I don't prove I'm a human. And I failed the first quiz. All right, let me try again. There we go. Passed on the second try. I'm a bad human. It takes me 2 tries minimum to get this. All right, we're getting to side split number two. All right, let's go. We're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, because we want to be able to rest our butt against the wall if we're about to fall. And I see that there are a whole bunch of comments. I'm trying to get through the live content so that people who are regulars can get through it and then go do whatever else they have to do, because we do this show every day. So I will definitely respond to all the comments at the end. Let's go. Open up those legs nice and wide. When you're feeling a pinching pain in the hip, if you're feeling a pinching pain in the hip, you've gone too far. Bring the legs back in, and we're ready to fold. Bring that belly button down. Whee! Put your hands down if you can. If you cannot, or if you just don't want to, because it's a pain in the butt, you can put your hands on something stable, sturdy, that will support your weight. When you are in this position, we're going to rotate our legs to rotate the thigh bone out of the way so it doesn't smash into your hip bones, so that your side split doesn't hurt, at least not because of the bones. From here, what I want you to do is rotate this leg back 90 degrees so that the knee, instead of pointing forward, starts pointing up. And it goes like this. Whoop, boom. That is toes pointing up, heels down, knees pointing up. We're going to do the other side. Wee, boop. I don't know why I'm making those sound effects. I got to come up with a better one. Heels down, toes up, knees up. From here, we're in our side splits. All right. Maybe you're not super low in your side splits, but this is the setup for the side splits. The only thing holding you back now is the length of your muscles. So if you have this stool behind you, your coffee table, your chair, or you're just on your hands, it's time to do a little wiggle from side to side. Lean to one side, push that leg out. Lean to the other side, push that leg out. Lean again, push, lean again, push, lean again, push. And if you want, you can rest your butt against the wall. Shift your legs however you need to be able to do that. Keep on leaning and pushing and leaning and pushing and leaning and pushing and come as low as you can. If this is one of your first times, you're like, there's no way I can get into this deep, crazy stretch, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to push yourself. This is a daily show where we focus on consistency. If you push yourself really hard and you injure yourself on day one, it's going to be really hard to practice consistency. Okay? So don't worry about doing your absolute best every single day. That's not how the body actually works. So chill. All right. Breathe. If the tops of your knees are pointing up and the top of your head is also pointing up, you're in your side split form. You don't have to flex any more muscles. So you can relax your feet. You can relax your toes. You can relax your calves. You can relax your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your low back. Inhale. Exhale. Sit into that stretch, relax. If your butt is against the wall, this has a name. This stretch is closer to a straddle stretch. And basically, your butt is on the ground on the wall, and you're trying to open up your legs as wide as possible. All right? This is important for your side splits, so we're doing it in addition to purer side splits. Purer side splits. 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. Keep on leaning from side to side, add a little bit of intensity here and there, and then relax. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, that's it. Walk your hands forward. Walk, 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 walk. Pull your legs in from underneath you, and that is side split number 2. Ah, man. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to, because that was hard, that was challenging, and you're trying to get out of it. So, whatever struggle you're going through, you can vocalize it, all right? I won't judge. In fact, I can't even hear you. From here, we're going to come on back up into standing. We're going to shake out our limbs. We're going to relax them. We're going to get back into side split number 3. Let's go. Come on back up. And let's shake the shake. Shake out the ankles. Shake, 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 shake. Shake, 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 shake. This does not have to be aggressive. You don't have to whip if you don't want to. If you need a little bit help trying to figure out what relaxation means, you can experiment with flicking the leg real fast and seeing that your ankle can go. That's cool. You don't have to do it that way. If your ankles are relaxing and you're just letting them flop around like this, that is plenty. All right. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Other side. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. At any point, if you want to start adding in a whole bunch of other movements that feel like you're turning into a loose noodle, go ahead and add it in. At the end of the day, this is all about relaxation. And if you're flopping around, that is relaxation. So add it in, make it fun, enjoy yourself. And we're going to move on into our hips. We're standing, putting all our weight into one foot. Big toe of the other foot is down. We're bending the knee a little bit to rotate in and out, and 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 in and out. And of course, if this is starting to feel real dancey on a rhythm, you can do some other stuff like some stanky leg. And if that's not enough for you, you're like, I need to relax those muscles, Ken. Why are you wasting my time? You can straighten out that leg. Still almost no weight on that foot, on that big toe. You can keep on rotating. You start rotating faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until all of the other muscles and your upper thigh are flopping around all over the place, and your leg looks like it's made of jello and it's just flopping back and forth. All right, you can do the same on the other side. One leg has all the weight, big toe, the other leg is down. You don't have to keep that leg bent anymore. And what you do have to do is keep on rotating, rotate fast, rotate pretty intensely, and try your best to relax the thigh muscles. If you're putting weight onto that leg, it's not going to rotate nearly as easily. There's almost no weight, you're just putting the toe down to help anchor that toe in place, the rest of your leg will have a much easier time flopping around. That hopefully helped get you a little bit more relaxed, a little bit looser, because that's all we got. We're going to get into side split number 3. If you want, you can do one last dance move, and we're going to begin. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. Open up those legs into a nice, deep, wide position. If your hips are starting to hurt, you've gone too far. Stop. Bring your legs together and focus on the belly button right here. Fold that down into the ground. Whee! Whew. Here we are. From here, try your best to put your hands on the ground. If your hands are not reaching, or you just don't want to because it takes too much work, you can use something to elevate your hands. If you got an old stack of encyclopedias, that will do. If you got a stool, even better. Whatever it is, make sure it's relatively stable and it will not collapse under your weight. All right? From here, we are going to rotate our legs. Right now, our feet are flat down on the ground and our knees are pointing forward. What we want to do is rotate that leg back 90 degrees so that the knees are pointing up, the toes are pointing up, and our heels are down. Feel free to use a little bit of padding, a little bit of foam to help pad those heels to make it a little bit more comfortable. We got to do that on both sides. All right, so knees we're pointing forward, we're rotating the legs so that now, boom, they're pointing up into the sky. We're in our side splits. This is the beginning of the side splits. From here, see if you can just drift yourself into a deeper stretch now. Since we've done 2 rounds, you might be able to drift in a little bit more easily. And once you've started drifting, you can once again add in that little bit of lean to the side, push out, lean to the side, push out, lean to the side, and push, lean, and push until you get as deep as you can. From here, we're going to do slightly different than the previous one. I want you to bring your chest down towards the ground. When your chest comes down, your knees should also start coming and facing a little bit more forward. All right? I want you to know that as long as the tops of your knees are pointing in the same direction as the top of your head, you are in a side split position. So this is absolutely okay. So right now, I'm at this angle where my hips are pretty low, my chest is kind of high, I'm up at an angle, right? So as long as the knees are pointing that same angle, we're good. That's a side split. In this position, you should feel more of a stretch here in your inner thigh muscles. That is what we want. We need those for a side split. That's it. That's all the information you need. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27. If you feel like it, you can do a little wiggle from side to side. See if you can get just a little bit deeper. You can try and drop down to your elbows and relax. Breathe. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. If this ever gets too intense, you can always switch it up. You can bring it back into that previous version of the stretch we were talking about where your butt is resting against the wall. You're feeling it more in the hamstrings than in your inner thighs. And if that break is enough, you can come back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. That's it. We're walking our hands forward. We're pulling our legs in. Oh, that is our third and final side split. We have done all the hard stuff for today. Oh, we're almost done. We're going to come back into standing. We're going to shake out our legs one more time. We're going to do a round of joint checks just to make sure everything is working well together. And then we'll be done for today. So, everybody, come on back up into standing and let's shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Start with those ankles. If your ankles are relaxing, they're kind of flopping, they're getting loose, you really only need 5 to 10 seconds per leg. All right? Other side. You don't need much more. And what we're training is actually our nervous system, right? Relaxation of the muscles is something that we tell our body to go do. When you're first starting, it might be a little bit harder to relax, but as you get more comfortable with relaxation, getting the muscles to chill out should come a little bit faster, and you might not need nearly as much time shaking it out as you did before. Next up, we're getting to our hips. All our weight is in one leg. Big toe is down on the other side. Or rotating the knee in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. As you get more comfortable, you can straighten up and get a little bit more lazy. You can just shake that leg back and forth. Shake, 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 shake. As you get faster and stronger, you can turn that leg, at least the quad muscles, the thigh muscles, into jello and have them flop all over the place while you shake the leg aggressively and don't have to do this right away. You don't have to have this figured out today if you're brand new to the show. But know that at some point you can get your legs to shake so hard, to get so floppy and loose that you're just whipping your leg muscles around and forcing them to be relaxed. All right, that is our shaky shaky. Hopefully your hips are loose and they're not moving as bad as they were when you're just struggling to get out of that side split just now. And hopefully we're ready to get into our joint checks. All right, what I want you to do right now is do a couple of really slow hip circles. I want you to work all the way through your hips, oh, on the sides, on the front, on the side, and even that back and low back. Oh. Once you've spent a couple of seconds there and you've identified all the places where your hips are unhappy with you, spend a little bit of time, stretch them out, give them some love. My sides tend to be the most tense after the side splits, so I like to just pause and chill and switch in between them until they feel a little bit better. Feel free to do the same. Next up, we're going to do a quick high knee. Lift that knee up, lift the other knee up. If they come up, we're ready to move on. Next, we're going to pop into a squat. We're going to keep our legs pretty close together so that your feet are about hips width apart. Come on down into a squat. From the side, I want you to notice that we're trying to bring the chest down to the knees. All right. And then I want you to try and push your knees forward a little bit past your toes, if you can. If you can't, just do your best. All right. So chest down, knees forward. From here, you should be feeling your toes working real hard, trying to grip the floor. You should feel the arch of your foot working real hard to keep you stable. You should be feeling your Achilles tendon getting a nice stretch because your knees are forward. And you should be feeling a bit of a calf stretch. Your quads should be firing and telling you to please stop holding the squat position. And you might be feeling a little bit in your low back, keeping you balanced and stable. Those are all really good signs. From here, I want you to try to put your hands down for a second. I want you to do a calf raise. Focus on balancing, maybe focusing on bringing your weight between your big toe and your index toe, and keep on doing them calf raises. Oh, when you're tired, when you're ready to give up on those, you can stop. But what we just focused on was getting our toes to work with our feet, to work with our Achilles tendon, our calves, our quads, our hips, our low back, getting all of those muscles pretty much from the low back down working well with the joints, working well, making sure that you move good. And if you're able to do most of those things, at least half of those things, you're probably doing all right. So we're ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency, building a little bit of hip mobility with me today. We do this show live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern to build the number one quality consistency. So if you like hip mobility, you like side splits, you want to practice more consistency, come back, come hang out, follow, and subscribe. All right, I'm going to take a look at the chat and see what's been going on. I said a little earlier that we are doing the lives as fast as possible so that everybody comes in and gets their stretchy stuff done. And then I try to answer questions at the end so that the people who are here to practice consistency get the consistency part done and through. All right, Swigline asks, I wonder, does this aid in building resilience and strength as well? Absolutely. Is it going to be as good as very intentional strength and resistance building? Probably not, because it's not the main purpose. But we are moving, we are adjusting, we are tweaking in these extreme ranges, and that movement is going to slowly strengthen your hips over time. We do a couple of things that are particularly good at building the resilience and strength. For example, if you had to pick one movement to do that will always be pretty good for your overall hip situation, it is the Cossack switch. Our third warm up exercise looks a little bit like this. We are doing a deep squat on one leg. We're doing a side split basically on the other leg. And then we're going to keep our hips low and we're going to get into the other side. This builds a lot of strength, builds a lot of ankle mobility, builds a lot of hip mobility, builds a lot of strength in the adductors to help you move from side to side, right? And all of those ranges require a whole bunch of stability in order for you to be moving back and forth. That is going to definitely help you build resilience. If you need some more resilience in a specific area, specifically, let me know, and maybe I can point you in the right direction. But in general, the more active components of our show, the warm up exercises, will do a little bit more to build up resilience because that movement, that activity, puts demands on the body. And that's where we do the most muscle contraction. In our static stretches, most of the time we're trying to relax as much as possible. We'll be unconsciously, like not intentionally, contracting muscles because the body is trying to protect itself. So the focus is a little bit different when we're doing our normal stretches. Okay? Ooh. Oh, all right. I'm gonna keep scrolling. What we got over here on YouTube? Not much. Ooh, YouTube was quiet today. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna scroll back over to TikTok. Swigline. Betty is back with some more requests for boat pose. Okay, we can do that at the end. And I'm going to keep scrolling, see what else we have in the comments. I saw a whole bunch come in earlier today. So hopefully I can get some stuff out. Glenn's asks, wow, what can I do if I'm stuck and can't go any more down, any near down? This came in pretty late in the live, so I think this is about the side splits. If you're feeling stuck, a lot of the time you probably just need to spend more time in the position. The most important thing that you can do that will help immediately is try your best to relax, right? Most of us are going to have pretty restricted mobility in doing the side splits because this is way more flexibility than you ever need in normal life, all right? And what happens when you get into a position where your body knows you don't spend any time here is your nervous system automatically locks you up so it doesn't let you get hurt. If you're going to Google something, this is called the stretch reflex. And basically, your nervous system knows, hey, we have not done this before. We don't want you to try this, and we're going to keep you from going any deeper because we don't know if you're going to be able to get out of this safely. And so a lot of stretching is actually just proven to your brain that you can do what you're trying to do, or getting stronger, getting more effective at doing what you're trying to do so that you prove to your brain that you can do it. And if you're getting stuck somewhere, the easiest short term thing that you could do is try your best to relax. So, in this sort of side split position, if you had a stool, for example, one thing that you could try to do is sit and rest on top of that stool so that some of that tension goes away from your legs and it's easier for you to just sit back, relax, chill, relax the calves, relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the hamstrings, relax the low back, and just breathe. When your legs are a little bit more relaxed, you should be able to push them a little bit deeper into your stretch. And then they'll tighten up again. And all you gotta do is try to relax a little bit. And that should give you a little bit incrementally. And at some point, it'll get way too hard and it'll be way too uncomfortable for you to continue. Um, we don't focus on that much sitting and relaxing into the stretch on this particular live because we're trying to keep it nice and compact, 3 rounds of 30 seconds. And a lot of that relaxation sort of stuff is us shifting our weight from side to side, getting into the position. Um, but that little bit of advice should help a little bit to help you get into the deeper side split. There's another technique called PNF. It's a broad, broad category of stretching methodologies that might have faster results, but it takes a little bit more intensity. Like you have to contract the stretched muscle quite a bit in order to turn off the stretch reflex, right? So we were talking about this a second ago, where when you get into a position, your body says it's not quite ready to handle. Even if you're strong enough, if your brain thinks you're not ready for it, it's going to hit you with a stretch reflex and you're going to get stuck. All right. When you get into that stuck position, the PNF technique, the contract relax technique, those are all things you can Google. PNF is the three letters PNF. And contract relax is a type of PNF stretch. Basically, what we're doing is getting into that stretched out position, and we're going to contract the muscles that are stretched out and are really tense right there. And we're going to contract, 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 contract. We're going to hold that tension. We're going to slowly build it up to 80, 90% of your full maximum contraction. We're going to hold it for a couple seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to relax the muscles and see if we can drift a little bit deeper into the stretch. Okay. So what you're doing there is you're basically turning off the stretch reflex. The stretch reflex tightens up your muscles so that you don't go any deeper. But when you start contracting those muscles, your brain eventually gets the signal. It's like, hey, 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 we don't need to contract so hard with our stretch reflex if the muscle is already contracting. And so when you contract, it helps to shut down the stretch reflex and then gives you a quick, short window where the stretch reflex is turned off and you can get a little bit more depth out of your contraction. And you can do lots of rounds of that. So I'm going to do another one since I'm already here and I never do these. If you're also going to follow along, feel free to get into a position where you're feeling a pretty intense stretch. Get a little bit out of it so it's not as intense, maybe like 80%, and get ready to contract those muscles. Let's go. Contract, contract, contract. Don't go 0 to 100 in intensity all in one go. Take it a little bit slower. Maybe take 3, 4, 5 seconds to get the full contraction strength. Hold that contraction for 10 seconds. Keep on contracting, 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 contracting. And release. Relax those muscles. Shift your leg out a little bit so you can get just a little bit deeper. And sit and rest into that stretch. Oh man. Usually you'll be able to pull that off a couple of rounds before it gets really, 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 really intense. And oh, your legs stop moving. Oh, I hope that demonstration of two different ways to get a little bit deeper into your stretch was useful. And you have enough to Google if you want more clear instructions. My legs are super tired after contracting those muscles, so I might be a little bit stuck. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Part of the reason why we don't do PNF on this show every single day is because you're going really far out of your way to contract your already stretched out muscles, and that puts a lot of strain into the muscles. When you strain the muscles a ton, they need more time to recover, right? You need to sleep, you need to eat good food, you need to give your body a chance to recover from the workout. If you do a little bit too much PNF, you're not going to be able to recover. I'm not going to be able to recover so that we can do the next day and work on our consistency component, right? This show is not about the fastest and most effective way to get into the side split. It is about consistency. It's about helping to build up everything else so that you show up, right? Uh, However, getting the most out of stretching does not require you to show up every single day. So there's a little bit of a conflict here. It is, in my opinion, much easier to show up and do a little bit every single day, at least at first when you're building up your consistency, than it is to follow like a really strict plan where you do 3 times a week or every other day, and that The doggo just made some crazy sounds like it's choking on something and is no longer making those sounds and seems fine. So I was just double checking what was going on. Um, where were we? What were we talking about? This live is designed about around consistency, right? It's about showing up and doing a little bit of work, making a little bit of progress along the way. If you wanted to do the absolute fastest way to get down into side splits, we would be doing a lot more of the PNF stuff. That contract relax technique, and I keep on saying these words so that if you want to Google them, you can Google them and look them up. Um, has demonstrated in some scientific thing or above, like being twice as effective, maybe 2.5 times as effective as static stretching, which is mostly what we are doing. But it puts a lot of strain on your body and it makes you very tired and forces you to take more time off. So if you're able to, at this point, balance the showing up and recovery, then you might want to consider doing the more intense stuff. If you are more focused on making sure that you stay consistent, that you build up your identity around being the person who shows up every single day, if you're just at your start, it might make more sense for you to focus on just doing a little bit of workout, learning the positions, getting the moves, and keep on coming back. That is entirely up to you. All right. But this show is about showing up every day. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Glenn says, "Thank you. You're very welcome." Okay. Travel to Roxy answered the question. This is a follow up. AJ says, "Hey, Ken, roll up your right sleeve." Thank you. I'm gonna scroll. I feel like I got stuck on 2 questions for a long time, and I feel bad about the rest of the comments over here in the chat. Give me a second. I'm gonna scroll up and see what is up. Hey, Yvette, welcome back. Yvette says, "I'm doing better with your exercises. Lots of hearts, lots of the prayer hands or the thank you hands. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Yvette. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it." And what else we got? What else we got? Jay got some emojis, and somebody says, "I feel the same." I'm looking for the comment that says that they might be responding to. Arya says, "This stretch is difficult." We do a lot of difficult stretches. Um, the stretch is as difficult as you want to make it, I'd like to say. Uh, I do a lot of these. I've been doing some of these stretches for months and months and months and months, a year and a half almost at this point, I think. And oh man, yeah, I think we're coming up on a year and a half soon. Um, I've made a lot of progress in my flexibility using this exact format show. At some points, actually, it was much faster and much quicker than this version. Uh, so if you want, you can check out the live recordings, right? On YouTube, all of these lives are recorded, and YouTube hosts them because YouTube is magical and they'll just let you put stuff on there for free. You can go check out pretty much the last 7 or 8 months worth of recordings on our daily live, and you can look how my hamstring flexibility was back then, what my pancakes look like, and see that we've been slowly making progress over time. All right. Um, so, there's proof that the stretches do work. You only need a couple seconds every single day in each of these stretches, and they add up into slightly better flexibility over time, right? Um, but, but that does not mean that the stretches are easy. And you can always make them a little bit harder. There's probably way more range of motion than most people will ever get. So, what am I talking about? In the hamstring stretch, which I have, at least on one leg, gotten significantly better over the last couple of years. If you're starting out, you're getting stuck right here at like 90 degrees. You got at least another 90 degrees to go before you'll reach your limit, right? You can keep folding and folding and folding. This stretch is essentially the same. You're grabbing your leg, you're pulling your belly button down. You're grabbing your leg, you're pulling your belly button down. You're grabbing your leg, you're pulling your belly button down. You don't have to change it up all that much to get into a deeper stretch. There are different things that you can tweak, you can adjust for yourself if you want to make it harder. We sort of talked about this earlier where I was telling you the more horizontal you keep your upper body, the more leverage you'll feel, the more power of gravity you'll be feeling. So, for some of you, that might mean that you need to elevate your butt or you need to decrease the elevation of your butt to get into that hamstring stretch. If you have been feeling like the kneeling position in the hamstring stretch has been a little bit uncomfortable, or uh, your knee just doesn't like it, you can absolutely sit half your butt on a stool, set up that stretch, let this leg off to the side and relax, and get right back into that same hamstring stretch that we've been doing this whole time. All right. Um, as you do this hamstring stretch, you can start to adjust your body so that your upper body stays as close to horizontal as possible. You can just drape and you can relax, right? Part of the reason why we kneel is because I started getting into a situation where my kneeling height is pretty close to the horizontal position that I keep talking about. And that's when gravity feels the most intense. Oh, but that might not be the best position for you. So if you want to do a slightly different version, that's totally okay. For some of us, and I do this stretch, especially when I'm outside, when the floor might be a little dirtier. So I've done this version in parks, in train stations, in airports, where we stand, we have one leg back, one leg in front. The leg in front is the one that we're stretching, and we get to that horizontal position with our upper body right here. And it's basically what, 90 degrees, 80 degrees ish, right? And you can get that really intense version of the stretch for yourself right here. And that might be the version that makes the most sense for you if you're just getting started and your hamstrings aren't that flexible. The lower you get into the ground, the lower you bring your butt to the ground, the more flexibility you need in order to get close to horizontal, right? If you try to do this version where you're sitting on the ground and you're just leaning forward and you're like, this stretch does absolutely nothing for me because your whole body is sticking straight up and you're like, gravity is not pulling me down at all. That is very normal, right? We watch really flexible people do crazy things and you're like, how do they do that? I can't get into that position. I don't feel anything whatsoever. That is when you got to start using other tools, and you can't just blindly compare what other people are doing because they might have a different level of skill or different amount of training than you do, right? That same position where we're sitting down on our butts, because we're higher up, gravity is able to pull us a little bit deeper into that stretch, even though our flexibility never changed, right? Um, why am I talking about this? It is because it's because somebody said this stretch is really hard. Uh, we're working on essentially five stretches the whole entire time. It's the hamstring stretch, the butterfly stretch, the pancake, what's number four? The pigeon, and the side splits, right? Those are the five stretches. And they all have sort of kind of an endpoint when your hamstring stretch gets so deep that you can bring your chest down to like your legs and you can get really, really flat and squished, has an endpoint. If you are doing the butterfly, I guess technically when your knees come down all the way to the ground, that is a natural ish endpoint. But if you sit on something taller, you can keep opening up your hips wider. I don't know why you would need to, but some people do that. What else we got? The pancake. The pancake has a natural endpoint. When you smash your chest into the floor, and you're folded like this, you're probably pretty close to done. It is really hard to hit those endpoints. So everywhere in between, you're just working on a slightly different variation of the stretch. All right. When you're doing yoga, now I think there's some crazy moves that you might not be ready for. But uh, in our show, we're basically doing those five stretches. And if your butterfly is not so good, your knees are real high up like this, everything in between the floor and where you started is just a variation on the stretch, right? Maybe there's slightly different things you can focus on, slightly different things you can adjust, but overall the stretch is basically the same. You're trying to push your knees down into the ground, you're trying to pull your legs in, you're trying to breathe the whole time. That was a long ramble. I don't know if that was useful, but I hope it was. And I'm gonna keep scrolling. from It's Aria Joy. All right, I gotta imagine I'm pretty close to the top. So we'll be ready to wrap up soon. V Meta sends a tap. Thank you. Thank you for supporting live. All right, there we go. All the way to the top. We got 41 people left on the live. I owe Betty some vote posts because I said I would do that. And we are about to wrap up. Let's see. Oh, Mashinga says, I need to know the time for the other live. This one is too early and I love what you're doing. The other live happens at 9 a.m. Eastern time on the weekends. So you're not going to be able to find it right now. Yeah, I hope somebody wrote it in the chat. Just scroll and hope it's easier to find. Da, 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 da. Oh, thank you everybody for hopping into the chat and supporting each other and answering questions. There's a question from Swigline, and I'm gonna try and scroll earlier into the chat to see if I can see what it was. AJ Scales says, Ken, nice workout. Thank you. Glenn says, thank you for answering. More specific area, I guess general resilience, legs, core, and arms mostly. This live isn't gonna be super good for your core and arms. We basically don't do anything for the arms. But your joints will be building up a lot of resilience in the legs at least, right? Because we do a lot of stuff where we're hanging out in a deep squat. That'll put a whole bunch of pressure onto your knees, into your hips, into your ankles. So generally those will be worked on a little bit as you're working on these movements. When we do the Cossack switch, switching from side to side, your inner knees are getting a lot of pressure. There's not that much for the outside of the leg or some of the other muscles. When you learn to master some of these movements, right? Because this is the in, out, in, out, in, out. We get a little bit more in the hip and like doing this move, which also is useful for the butterfly, opening up our legs. But for the upper body, it's not nearly as much. I think if you're looking for a little bit more in that specific area, you might be well you might be better set to go check out some more calisthenics. The core strength is super important for calisthenics. I'm doing a little bit of that in my other content, not on the live. Uh, for example, the YouTube video I just released on long form YouTube is about the elbow lever, right? The elbow lever is basically doing a really intense plank and then balancing on your elbows. And it looks a little bit like this. And we're working the core quite a bit. There's a bunch of balance. You're working on flexing all of the muscles in your body to help straighten it out, turn it into a plank. And that if you want to learn more about that, that's on YouTube. You can go check that out. The username is @splits on the side. I think Travel with Rocks already put it in the chat. Hold on. Let's see. Betty Vore wants the full pose. And oh, Swigline asks, are you building more resilience, strength in core training and cardio? I'm not doing that much cardio in this live. There's a little bit, maybe, if you are breathing really hard during the hip cars. There's a little bit, maybe when you're doing the Cossack switches, that will get your heart rate up, but it's not that much. It's only a couple of minutes total. I think most of the warm-up exercises that we do are wrapped in the first like 10 minutes of the live, 10, 15 minutes of the live, depending on how much explaining I'm doing. But the more explaining that I'm doing, the slower the pacing of the whole thing is, right? And you get more time to recover from it. So uh, there's not really that much resilience and strength. There's a tiny bit of it here and there because we want to strengthen our inner thigh muscles, but overall, there's not that much concrete strength building. Will you get stronger a little bit over time because you're doing a lot of these movements over and over again, like the hip cars? Yes. Will you get there fast? No. So if you're trying to build strength, definitely go check out perhaps some calisthenics training. Calisthenics is about using your body weight for the most part. The only thing that you wouldn't be able to do very easily with the stuff that we already are using is potentially pull-ups, and I guess potentially rows. Pull-ups and rows are just pulling exercises. One is pulling from overhead and one is pulling from in front, or slightly at an angle, but basically those muscles. Um, Hope that answers your question. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's see, 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 let's see. Engaged in structured warm up and stretches sequences leading to size. But awesome. Okay, yes, people are summarizing stuff that I otherwise would have said. Sweet. And I have a YouTube channel. You should absolutely visit it. It's the same username as TikTok. It's at splits on the side. Okay, Machine needs to know about the time. Travel actually posted the username, and or yes, Travel actually posted the time, and Mayori says, "Cool, cleanses. I'm looking for that flexibility." Awesome, awesome, awesome. Tom says, "Do a hip stretch." That's so funny. We wrapped up like a 90-minute show, and we're in the end phase of the live where I just talk and answer questions. Um, but I think I've been demonstrating random little bits and pieces throughout. Uh, Swigline asks, in a different time zone, I presume. Yes, Mashinga, I think, said she was in South Africa, or he was in South Africa a couple days ago, maybe. I might be mistaking you for somebody else. Um, so it is. Oh, there we go. It's in the chat right now. Crazy early morning. I think yes. Last time you mentioned that it was already 4 o'clock when we were doing this in live, and I think in this message you said started at 3 a.m. Yeah, yeah. I was telling you to go to bed. Yes, that is what we said. I think that was yesterday. Now all my evenings are getting mixed together because I'm tired at the end of the day. um, Travel with Roxy said they were going to do the math for us, and did some math for us. I'm gonna just trust that math is correct because there's just no way I could do that math for myself at this point. Swigline says yes, that one elephant thing. Oh, okay. I see. I saw that you do the elephant upper thing. Yes, that one. So cool. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I totally forgot. Wait, what? Elephant thing is an elbow lever? Oh, okay. I already did it. The elephant thing we usually do is called an elephant walk, so that's why I was hesitating and confused. The elephant walk is this thing where you kind of fold forward, bring your belly button down into the ground, you bend one knee and straighten out the other, and then you keep on. Ah! Had to run over, make sure the dog didn't eat it. And we're switching back and forth. So I was confused about the elephant description that you just gave. Um, but yeah, the elbow lever is cool, and that definitely requires a little bit more core and arm and just in general strength that we don't usually train in this live. No, we don't train necessarily in this live. If you are already moving pretty well, this live will help you maintain your strength, but it will not really make you that much stronger. It might make you stronger in very specific, tiny ways. One of the things that we do every single day to warm up is called the hip cars, right? And I tell you every day that we're trying to lift the knee as high as possible in front. We're trying to open up that hip as wide as we can, right? Those things, if you're working really hard, if you're straining, if you're trying to lift your knee really high as it can go, that will slowly build a little bit more mobility over time. But we only do a couple reps and we only do it one time. And then it's not optimized necessarily for the fastest method to build strength. And it's more of a lighter warm up exercise for us. So it will build strength. You should notice over time that you're able to lift your knee a little bit higher, you're able to open wider, you're able to bring that leg back a little bit further without as much struggle. But that's like a very limited range of strength that we're building. Can you do the Van Damme splits? I am trying. That is what I would love to do. Have you seen the advertisement where there's like the two Volvo trucks driving and he just slowly gets into a crazy split? One of those years, and probably the year after, and the year after that, and the year after that, I rewatched that video for inspiration. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get those splits. But I've been saying that to myself for like 15 years. This is the closest, the deepest, the furthest that I've gotten to it. What's a Van Damme? Okay, there is an actor who, oh man, I don't know what decade this is relevant for because I was not actually paying attention to movies at the time. But he's an actor. I think he's French. Maybe he's German. Van Damme. I think that must be a German last name. And he did a whole bunch of action movies. I think he's a kickboxer potentially, or he played a kickboxer in some of those movies. And his signature that made him stand apart from everybody else at the time was a really sick side split that he can like control and look like a badass doing. And now I feel like the middle split, a really good size split, isn't as rare as it was in that moment in time. So he was perfectly positioned to take over his little niche in the movie world with that move. And I think he lost some popularity because he stopped appearing in as many movies for a while. And then Volvo, trying to show off how steady the steering of their trucks or the suspension of their trucks or whatever it is about their trucks for long distance shipping, made a advertisement where actor Van Damme, slowly goes from like a standing position into a deep full split as the trucks are driving. So his feet are like placed on the mirrors of the truck, and he's just like going, and it's Anya playing really dramatic Anya music while while this happens, and it's crazy. Yeah, that would be sick. Anyways, I'm nowhere near close to that, but that would be awesome. Oh, okay, I'm up. Oh wait, Betty wanted to see some ball posts, so let's wrap this up because I'm tired. Let's go. If you don't know, because you weren't here yesterday, I think we did this yesterday. We're doing some boat pose. What the boat pose looks like is this. We're going to sit on our butts, we're going to lean back a little bit, and we're going to bring our knees up. If you get real good at this, and you're going to feel a lot in your core, you're going to feel a lot in these hip muscles right in the front. All right? Rectus femoris. From here, this is easy mode. If you want to make it harder, you can start straightening out legs, start turning into hard mode. The stronger you are, the closer you'll be able to bring your legs to your face. And that makes things like insanely difficult because you're working on hamstring flexibility, you're working on compression strength. That compression strength is actually super valuable because once you have a lot of compression strength, you'll be able to like lift your leg up towards your face and be able to do things like L sits a little bit more easily. Oh man, my fingers are tired. And we're doing some boat pose. Let's go. Knees up, chest and back straight, and ah, lifting leg. I don't know how many seconds are we supposed to do. I'm gonna go until my quads cramp up. They're getting real close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is some boat pose. Hi dog. Dog is confused. It's like I've never seen that move before. I know to stop and pay attention for all the other moves, but not this one. What's going on? Okay. Dog is just gonna sit for pets. I think we are ready to wrap. He was Belgium, I believe. Oh, awesome. The book, Stretching Scientific. I actually have an old PDF version of this book. I found it on like archive.org a couple months ago, Stretching Scientifically. And then before that, I think I also had a PDF version. Maybe it was just the same archive.org. I just forgot how I got my hands on it. A couple years before that, too. Stretching Scientifically is a very good book. If you guys are interested, you should definitely go check it out. And the techniques, the systems for achieving better flexibility are way more fleshed out than I could verbally express during a live. So that information is really sound. And a lot of more recent stretching books have the same basic principles, are expanding upon the same basic principles as that book. So I think that's the OG stretching book. Can't remember the author's name. I'm horrible with names. And that is not to say that you should not look it up and you shouldn't learn the name, just that I'm bad. The book is called Stretching Scientifically. We got Petrosi's martial arts says he was Belgium, I believe. That does not make sense. Okay. All right. Tom Kurtz. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. When I see the name, it makes sense. Just I can't. My brain doesn't make the connection without it. So I appreciate it, Petrus. Thank you. All right, I think that is it. We still have 47 people on the live. Wow. Okay. Thank you for enjoying listening to me ramble and talk and answering all sorts of random questions the best I can. I hope you had fun. If you were here for the live portion where we did the stretching and side split stuff, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're relaxing now, and I hope I hope you're ready to chill. Swigline says, sounds nice. Just never thought I could learn stretching from a book. It's not necessarily like which stretches to do. It's more like the how muscles work, how the stretch reflex activates and hits you when you're trying to do something, and how to think about programming your flexibility. All right, because at the end of the day, we're sitting down, we're doing a lot of training, right? When to do them, exactly. How you program the program, and that you can definitely read. You can test and prove with your own body when you do them, and then hopefully you get somewhere in the middle and you go, ah, interesting. Yep, exactly. Exactly. We try to do a little bit of dynamic stuff on the show. It's not really that much. Most of the work that we do is passive flexibility, and I think it's because it survives better in the daily format that we're doing. If we were doing a whole bunch more high intensity versions of flexibility, it would be really brutal on the body to do every single day. And that would make the live and this current show's format a little bit more difficult. But the other ways to stretch, there's more than one way to stretch and become flexible. The other ways can be very effective, can be way more effective. And that is what you would learn more about in that book, Stretching Scientifically. Don't exhaust the muscles. One stretches work best. Don't exhaust the muscles. One stretches work best. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, PNF. Oh, great. Thank you for spelling it out. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. That is the actual scientific term for the contract relaxing stuff that I demonstrated a little bit earlier, the PNF. Most of the time, if you just Google P, N, and F, the capital letters that make that acronym up, you'll be able to find it. But there's a keyword in there. That's neuromuscular, right? We were talking about when I was describing PNF, the stretch reflex, right? The stretch reflex is basically your nervous system, your neuromuscular neurosystem, nervous system, sending signals out saying, hey, you're not ready for this. This is crazy. Whether that's true or not, your body's going to send out the signal, and that is going to cause a whole bunch of your muscles to contract to keep you from getting deeper into a stretch, right? So what PNF does is, or what we're trying to do when we're doing PNF stretches is we're contracting a muscle, and when we contract that muscle, the already contracting stuff that is the stretch reflex goes, oh, hey, we're chill, we're cool. They're already contracting the muscle. We don't need to also contract that muscle. And that is when you open up a tiny window of time, a couple of seconds, where you can get into a slightly deeper stretch and you can overcome the stretch reflex for a little bit. You get into a deeper stretch, it gets more intense. You hang out there for a while, you hang out there for a little bit longer. Life is brutal for a bit, and then if you want, you can go do another round of PNF. Yep, you can bypass that and reset when you also do the dynamic flexibility in the morning. Yes, and you can add on to that technique with a whole bunch of other things that make it more complex. When you guys are ready for more complex and probably more effective stuff to work on your flexibility and ready to put in more time and programming, then definitely check out Stretching Scientifically by Tom Curtis. It's going to be really helpful. But until then, you got this. You got the life. I'm ready to wrap up. If you're somehow still on and you don't know, we're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice the number one quality, consistency. Once you have that consistency, you can go off and do whatever it is that you want because you can keep that consistency and you can take it into whatever new thing that you want to do, right? But until you get there, we're doing this live every single day, and I hope you join in and we're going to work on our side splits together. I don't actually do very much PNF stretching at all because I want to be physically prepared for this live. Doing the one live a night, I can absolutely 100% recover from. On the weekends, when I do this show twice, once at 9 a.m. and once at 9 p.m., my hips get very tired by Sunday night, and I know I can't really go any further, and I don't really fully recover and get back to normal until Tuesday ish, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. So I know that my personal lifestyle habits, at least, are not quite ready for that much more intensity on a regular basis. I am thinking about adding a little tiny bit of PNF into our existing stretches, but I'm trying to figure out how to do that in a way that doesn't make the show suddenly another half hour longer. Yeah, and I think that might just mean I need to do another show. But to do another show, I still need to warm up. And that means this show is taking forever. But anyways, that is what's on my mind, and I hope I'll see you guys soon for a little bit more side split stuff. Petro C says best advice: tilt your pelvis forward. Is great advice. Um, But tilting your pelvis forward is like the hardest part of all of the things that we do in this show. I don't know about you, but I've been working real hard on tilting the pelvis forward for the pancake, for the side splits, for everything. It is not an easy sort of thing to suddenly learn, and you got to put in the work. Exactly. Frog stretch. I hate the frog stretch. That's why it's hard. Travel with Roxy says see you, and I think with that we're ready to wrap up. Oh man, we're about to hit 2 hours. Okay, I need to go to bed. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you in 22 hours. 22 hours. All right, wrapping up. Thank you, Petra Z, for sharing your expertise. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Closing out. All right.